Ask My Instructor 10.2.12. Determine the radius of convergence of the power series and then find the interval of convergence. To determine the radius of convergence, we set up the ratio rule with our a sub k's, and we're looking for absolute convergence. So when we set up the ratio, we use absolute value signs. And one thing I want you to notice when I set it up is that I disregarded the -1 to the k, and that's because we're taking the absolute value, and absolute value of -1 to the k is just 1. So I just threw that out. I thought that the ratio was ugly enough as it was. We didn't need to add any more unnecessary stuff. So simplify the ratio by flipping and multiplying. And then when I cancel, this is what I get. Now let me just show you where this came from. 3 to the k over 3 to the k plus 1 is equal to 1 over 3, and that's positive, so it's outside of the absolute value sign. And k plus 1 over k, that's also positive, so I put it outside of the absolute value sign. And then x minus 1 to the k plus 1 over x minus 1 to the k, that's just x minus 1. Now that could be either positive or negative, so that has to stay inside of the absolute value sign. And so now what I do is I take the limit, because I'm using the ratio rule and you have to take the limit, and I bring the 1/3 out, and also I bring out the absolute value of x minus 1, because neither one of them care what k is doing. So just put them on the outside. So then I put them on the outside. Now the limit as k goes to infinity of k plus 1 over k, that limit is just equal to 1. And so when I take the limit, I get 1/3 the absolute value of x minus 1. Now that ratio, if we use the ratio rule, the limit of the ratio has to be less than 1. So the series will only converge if x minus 1 times 1/3, the absolute value of that, is less than 1. So that tells me what restrictions I have to put on x. X minus 1 has to be, its absolute value has to be less than 3. So x has to be within 3 units of 1. And that tells us if x has to be within 3 if x has to be within 3 units of 1, that tells me that the radius is 3. Also tells me x minus 1 is between -3 and 3. Add 1, I have x is between -2 and 4. Now, we have the radius, that's 3. We're looking for the interval. And to look for the interval, we have to check the endpoints. Now, we have to check x minus 2 and x equals -2, and we have to check x equals 4. If x equals -2, then -2 minus 1 is -3. And then I've got -3 to the k over 3 to the k, and that's just equal to -1 to the k. Now, -1 to the k times -1 to the k, that's just equal to 1. And adding up 1 an infinite number of times, that's a divergent series. Now, same thing if we do x equals 4, it's a similar sort of thing, but this time we get -1 to the k. And that diverges as well. If you look at the partial sums go between, let's see, 1 and 0, 1 and 0, 1 and 0, 1 and 0, so it diverges. No limit. So we exclude the endpoints and the series converges as long as x is between -2 and 4. That is, x comes from the open interval -2, 4. Take care and have a great day.